So it's a little bit worrying, the current state of the country, where, and I will put this out there first, I don't agree in any violent protests, whether you're British, Islamic, Jewish, or any other culture that comes in, whether you're black, white, pink with blue spots. Threatening or aggressive behaviour because somebody doesn't fit into your narrative is not the way forward. But I do believe in our right to protest, and I also believe in our right to celebrate being British, because that is not far right, that is not racist, that is because that's what I am. And if you're telling me I can't celebrate the fact that I'm British, then what is this country? Why have I got a passport? Because doesn't it say I am a sovereign individual of the United Kingdom on my passport? So my passport says that. So if I can't celebrate that I'm a sovereign individual of Great Britain, and every person that's given a passport doesn't celebrate that they're a sovereign individual of Great Britain, then we have problems. Because this is the demolishing and the erosion of our culture. And if you remove our identity from our culture, we have nothing left to stand for. So if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. That's what they always say. So this is not hate speech. This is not, I'm not provoking anything. I'm not telling anybody to go out and riot. If anything, the contrary, I'm saying we should have peaceful protest. We should try to sit across the table from the people which are causing these problems. And the government has a responsibility to hear both sides and treat both sides equally. And the evidence of two-tier policing, which has been about for quite a while now, where I've watched the videos and I've seen what's been in front of me, where different cultures, different religions, different people have been treated completely differently, not arrested for saying anti-Semitic and waving machetes around, threatening people, threatening the very culture of what we're a part of, and threatening another religion. And they weren't arrested. So how come that has been acceptable, where not long ago our society was saying about certain cultures and certain idealisms about them being terrorists, and anybody that steps out of line, they were arresting them left, right and centre, to the flip side of that coin now, where they're using the very same rhetoric and the very same ploys against its own people. And that's a bit scary, really. Now, if I'm wrong, I take it all back. 100%. If I'm right, then... And they then decide, oh, you are... This. They could say this is hate speech. How could they say this is hate speech? By saying the facts. Saying the facts of that there is a divide in our society compared to when there was immigration within this country before. It was integrated in immigration, where people come to integrate into our system and be a part of it. There's been a lot of separation happening, a lot of fear-mongering, a lot of them kind of... But we're all people from the same planet. The biggest issue, I think, is the rhetoric and the wording and the loading of the speech. Because I'm trading NLP and CBT, I see the loading of the speech. I see the way that the news channels are reporting certain things in a certain way. So, for instance, when I've seen them say, they have murdered, but we have killed. So, in other words, they've murdered my people, but I've only killed theirs because they deserved it, because they murdered a few of mine. See, that's That's loading. That's intentful loading. It is murder on both sides. If you are killing people without the facts behind it, and we can't believe everything that's been said in the media because they've been caught out so many times. They've been caught out with so many lies, so many times, especially with COVID. It's scientific. Have the jab. It'll stop you getting COVID. That's what was said. And then, it doesn't stop you from getting COVID, but it makes it less lethal. Then, it's 90% successful at stopping deaths. Then 70, then 50, then 30. Then we've realised they've been lying all along. They've had this jab for years and they've done all of those things. And they knew that there was a leak from somewhere in the Wuhan area, which came from a lab. And the fact that they tried to say it was from a bat in a wet market, because the very governments which helped to spin that were the very governments that were investing in that technology in those countries to manipulate those viruses, and they didn't want to see to having dirty hands. It's all about image, ego, self-protection. Come on, Milo, you're a good boy. And self-worth. And every time the truth comes out, let me just wipe this camera. Every time the truth comes out, they make a law. This is for your protection, for the protection of the children, for the protection of the elderly, protection of society, for protecting themselves. That's why these laws are in place. And they manipulate the public and manipulate the media streams to be able to create an idealism that they're not the bad one, we are. We are. White men. It's all being against the white men. The reason being is because they know if they can demoralize the masculinity in society, they can demoralize us and break us down. There's nobody there to fight. Everybody just shut themselves behind their doors, lock themselves away, and they're not going to fight, are they? And that's their belief. They believe that they can terrify people into not saying things. And if you look at, like, we go about Russia and China and all these other countries, our entire system is turning into the Chinese system of manipulation. They're going to say, for your protection, everybody, because of all of these immigrants in the country, everybody has to have an ID now, a digital ID, and that digital ID is going to be tied to a currency. And if you have this digital ID, you'll be entitled to benefits. They created an unstable situation, and then they say that they're going to be the solution. Crazy, really. I don't know. Let me just say, I don't know whether any of these things are facts. All I'm doing is speculating.